OCO, welcome. I am Fran Day, and I am an Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians member. I was born to the Paint Clan and for the Bird Clan. My mother was Paint Clan, my father was Bird Clan. I am Scots-Irish Cherokee. This evening, I thought that I would talk with you a little bit about who I am first, and then read you an excerpt from an oral tradition poem that I am putting together. I am the oldest of 8 children, one of 15. I am the oldest of the children in my mother's household. And those who know me well would tell you I am the classic oldest child. I grew up on Stinking Creek, Tennessee, in Campbell County. And how my people got there is part of the story that you will hear today. I had 2 grandmothers who were highly influential, one tall and one small. But other than that, they were pretty indistinguishable. They were fierce and indomitable. Martha Thomas Oakes and Lucy Cantrell Elmore. Both of them were Cherokee. A story to illustrate how indomitable they were. When I graduated from high school, from Wynn High School at Habersham, Tennessee, and went off to college, I was extremely proud and very, very full of myself. And I came home at Thanksgiving, and my grandmothers invited me to come and have tea with them. We're sitting at the long table, and one grandmother's sitting here, and Grandma Lucy's sitting here, and I'm sitting here. And Granny Martha said, "Well, tell us, Francis, what did you learn at that college?" And I, just full of all of my 17-year-old hubris, said, "Oh, I couldn't possibly tell you. You wouldn't understand." And these 2 old ladies with their hair skewed up and speared through with their tortoiseshell comb looked at each other, nodded, and Granny Lucy looked at me and said, "Then you will not be going back." You cannot be in a place where you are learning things you can't explain to your grandmothers. You will not be going back. Well, at that, I told them everything I knew, and I even made some stuff up. The stuff I made up was a whole lot more interesting. Well, they were instrumental in my upbringing because in our way, the grandmothers have claim on the oldest daughters. And besides which, my mother sent me to my grandmother's when she got tired of me because I was not an easy child, although I thought I was perfect. So I grew up on a farm, learning all sorts of interesting things, and it was not until much, much later that I realized that much of what I had learned was about Cherokee ways. It was just how we lived. And I went on to become, in my work life, I am a university president, and I started life as an anthropologist studying the intersection of cultures, which is what led me to be on this stage tonight. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Cherokee, because what we hear very often is not what we tell about ourselves, but some facts. There are 450,000 Cherokee alive today. That is more than were alive at the time of the European contact. So when the government pursued its many policies of annihilation, of assimilation, what they were not able to do was get rid of us, because we are very, very good at blending into the woodwork and surviving. We had a written language before European contact. People say, oh, Sequoyah invented the syllabary. Sequoyah took the traditional small written hieroglyphic language that we had and expanded it. And something interesting happened when he did that. We have a penchant, we Cherokees, for education. And what happened was, within 5 years, 85% of the Cherokee were literate in their own language. That's a pretty amazing statistic. And I think it's important to know there are 3 federally recognized bands of Cherokee. The Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, which is the largest of the Cherokee nations. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, which is at Koala in North Carolina. And the United Katuah, who are a smaller band that live in Oklahoma. There are many, many state-recognized tribal units, bands, and there are, I'll bet in this room, I would guess that at least 30% of you claim some Cherokee heritage. So those people also, if you are native to East Tennessee and your people go back a significant amount of time, odds are that that you are part Cherokee. The Scots-Irish part of my family, I come from a family of, as many American Indians do, that is very, very proud of our service to preserve this United States. 3 of my grandfathers fought in the Revolutionary War, my great-great-grandfathers. And they were all men who married, ultimately married Cherokee women. So we have a long lineage and history. Today, this evening, I'm going to read you the oral history that I am compiling, and this is simply an excerpt. And when I'm finished, I will be happy to answer questions if you have questions. This is in 3 parts. The first part is a plea from the people to Creator. The second part is a recounting of how we came to be dispersed people. And then I always end with our prayer for the earth. Oseo, grandfathers, grandmothers, awaken. We have need of you. Grandfather North, the white one, You who gave us intelligence and curiosity, awaken, we have need of you. Your children, the birds, the beasts, and things smaller than a turtle, have need of you. Grandfather West, the yellow one, who gave us wisdom, awaken. Your children, the people of earth, have need of you. Grandmother South, the black one, you who gave us love and compassion, awaken. All things that crawl and run and walk and fly have need of you. Grandmother East, the red one, you who gave us responsibility for the care of the earth, awaken. We, your children, the Salagi. Salagi is the proper name for Cherokee, have need of you. We have done all that is right. We have built the medicine bundle carefully, using the sacred four corners and the sacred seven turns of the cord. We burnt the sacred herbs, tobacco, sage, cedar, sweetgrass, black bitterroot. We have tried all that we know. No answer from you has come. Now you say, we have had generations to do right. We have failed ourselves, our progeny, and Mother Earth. Now, in our hour of need, we decide to honor you. Before you can help us, you say, we must acknowledge we have erred. We must tell the story of how we came to this state of tragedy so that all may know and learn. In the old time, in the time before now, Salagi lived on an island with the great turtles. All was good. There was bountiful food, there was water, there were great ways to entertain oneself. But then discord arose. The young men of Salagi began to mistreat the great turtles, riding on their backs, making sport of their ways, eating their young still in the egg. The great turtles went to Creator and pleaded for surcease from the unkindness of the young of Salagi. Creator was not pleased. He summoned the elders of Salagi. You have been derelict in your responsibility. You do not deserve to live in this beautiful place. You have not taught your children the right way, the beautiful way, the way of the Creator, my way. I am not pleased. You must leave this place. You must journey to Seneca land, where I trust you will learn to discipline your young and become again people of respect. As you journey, be careful and beware. For unto you a red and green devil will come, and he will surely spell the doom of Salagi. Salagi traveled many turnings of Mother Moon and 3 revolutions of Father's Son until they reached Seneca land, tired and sad. Seneca, being a prudent people, were cautious but welcomed their cousins. Sharing all that they had, Salagi dealt with Seneca for many generations in relative peace in Seneca land. One day, massive winged canoes, people with red and green beings, gods perhaps, came upriver to Seneca land. Seneca, being careful people, shunned these beings. If gods, they must be false. But Slagi, ever curious, ever adventurous, entered into relationship with these gods. In time, red and green children were born. Then one day the gods sailed away, leaving behind their red and green children. Time passed, the elders grew more elderly, and the red and green children grew into adulthood. As they grew, they became arrogant, as children of God's will. They began to disrespect the Seneca, mocking the elders and forsaking tradition, bringing violence and pain that shattered Seneca land. Seneca, being kind people, tried to counsel with Slagi elders to no avail. Finally, in despair, they called upon Creator, telling of the many indignities the Slagi, children of the gods, had visited upon them. Please help us, warm their hearts, make them human again, Seneca elders pleaded. Creator called Slagi elders to council. I have given you many chances, Creator thundered, and you have squandered each one. Once again, you have failed in your responsibilities. Again, banishment is the result. You must travel many turnings of Mother Moon and 4 revolutions of Father Sun to Shakanagi, land of the blue smoke, where you will dwell with Actana, the sacred spirit monsters. I warn you again, beware. A red and green devil is to come among you. He will surely spell the doom of Slagi. Moons and turnings of Father Sun passed, and Slagi made a good life in Shakanagi, dwelling in relative harmony with Actana, but often having to deal with their mischievous spirits. But Slagi were content. Then one day, Creator came before the elders. A new thing. Creator rarely left his home in the clouds. The elders gathered, the children gathered, all were disturbed. Creator spoke, you must leave this place and establish a new council far away beyond the Father of Waters. Danger is coming to Slagi. Some Slagi heeded the words of Creator and arose and went into Missouri land and Arkansas, where they established new council fires. They became known as the Katua and the Northern Cherokee. But others, fearful of traveling and remembering old exiles, stayed rooted in Shakanagi. Time passed, fear diminished, and life went on. Junaluska, favored son of Red Party Chief Yanaguska, was hunting in the woods near his village, Tanase. He came upon a boy of like age, lost, hungry, dirty. Junaluska took him home, where he became a son and a brother. The boy lived for many, many months, adopted by Slagi, and he thrived. One day, Yanaguska returned from a trading trip to Knoxville. We have found your family. You must go to them. I will never forget you, the boy promised. You saved my life. And Junaluska was proud. Seasons passed, earth and leaves turned, Slagi prospered, linking their fortunes to white settlements. The old ways sliding away, momentous events came to pass, writing, language, schools, trading outlets, friends among the whites, even marriages. Junaluska grew to manhood. At the call of his friend, his found brother, Junaluska went before the people and raised an army and went to war to help his brother become a general, saving his friend's life at Horseshoe Bend. Both returned as heroes, each back to their people. One grateful to be home and done with war, the other fired with an unholy ambition. Sloggy continued to build their empire. Stores, newspapers, trading posts, and farms, while the red and green boyhood Fran conceived a grand ambition. He would be president. A dark horse candidate, he struck a deal with the rich ones, the hungry ones, those in league with the destroyers. He made promises, big boasts. I will move all the Indians west of the Mississippi and give their land to you, my friends, my supporters, Andrew Jackson said, for that was his name. That was Junaluska's brother's name. There was much greed among the whites in the valley. Rumors, unrest, skirmishes began to take place. And then one day, a young Sloggy in Dahlonega, Georgia, paid for a sack of flour with a gold nugget and brought great disaster to Sloggy. Jackson ranged up and down the countryside, making deals and promises, trading on his fame as a great general, never acknowledging the gifts from his Sloggy family. Trading on greed, he narrowly won the presidency, and Junaluska loved him and was proud. Immediately, Jackson went before Congress, asked for an act of removal. All Sloggy will be moved beyond the Mississippi. The land will be given to the deserving, those who supported me. Sloggy knew they had to act, and so they went to law. The case traveled all the way to be heard at Supreme Court. Surely the people thought sanity, reason will prevail. After all, he is the brother of our great chief, Junaluska. He does not understand the situation, the people said. We will tell him. And appointed a commission. John Ross, the white chief of the Sloggy, Elijah Hicks, editor of the Cherokee Phoenix, Reverend Jesse Bushyhead, a Cherokee Methodist minister, and Junaluska, chief and brother of Andrew Jackson, were to go to Washington and counsel with their brother. The delegation traveled to Washington, went into the Capitol Rotunda, and asked for audience with their brother, Andrew Jackson, President of the United States. Jackson did not acknowledge the request. For 3 months, while the debate raged in the Supreme Court, the delegation sat in the rotunda of the Capitol, waiting for audience with their brother. Jackson traveled back and forth through the rotunda, never acknowledging his brothers. On each pass through, his hair became redder, his eyes greener, his face more resolute. Chief Ross was afraid, but pushed for a meeting. One day, a messenger came from the court. A verdict had been rendered. Jackson came from his office and read the verdict aloud. The Supreme Court has denied my case for removal. They say you cannot move these Cherokee. They are the rightful owners of this land. At that, Jackson crumpled the message in his fist and he dropped it on the floor. He put his boot upon the message as if to crush it. And looking directly at Junaluska and John Ross, he said, "John Marshall has made his decision. Now let him enforce it. I have 3,000 troops stationed at Cleveland, Tennessee, that says I can and I will move these people. I appoint herewith Wilson Lumpkin of Georgia and William Carroll of Tennessee as commissioners for the removal, each to be paid 30 gold pieces." There was silence, absolute and complete silence in the rotunda. And then the commission arose. And without a word or a look at Jackson, traveled back to Tennessee, where the people were encamped at Red Clay Council grounds beside the sacred Rattlesnake Springs, awaiting their report. John Ross, principal chief, told of the indignities and disrespect they had suffered, and then Junaluska spoke. And he said, "Had I known at the Battle of Horseshoe Bend what I know today, history would have been written differently. We must leave our homes and go far away, or we must hide in the forest. We have 36 hours." At those words, a great cry arose. Many called for war. "We will not go. This is our home. We will fight to the death." John Ross, ever this peacemaker, spoke. "If we must go, let us go, walking on our own 2 feet, like people, not driven like cattle." The people quieted. Some went to their homes to prepare for travel. Some faded into the forest where they would hide for 40 years. Others traveled northward near the Kentucky border and were hidden by their white families. 36 hours later, the soldiers came with their guns amid apologies and even tears as they herded the people down the old warrior's path. Over 8,000 would die of disease, smallpox, exposure, starvation, and despair. Hidden in a rain barrel in the barn that day, a 12-year-old boy, Andrew Jackson Cantrell, who had been left behind by his family because he was ill. The McDonald family cared for him until he was well and could rejoin his family up near the Kentucky border. Andrew Jackson Cantrell would live a long life, over 112 years. He would fight in 2 wars and become a champion fiddle player. And father to my grandmother, the fierce and indomitable Lucy Cantrell Elmore. There is more to this story, but I'm going to end here with the prayer taught to me by my grandmother. Lend your prayers to ours so that we may be heard. Corn Mother, grandfathers, grandmothers, Father, Sun, Mother, Moon. All that is in the earth and on the earth, ask all the creatures of earth to join our prayer. Help us in our plea to Creator. Bring healing to our world, our Mother Earth. Let her feel the power of Creator, working within her to heal her body, heal our souls, and nourish our spirit. Let us walk on the red way. Let us walk on the beautiful way. Let us walk surrounded by beauty. Let us walk with peace in and around us. Let us walk in joy. Let us walk knowing that goodness will come. It is finished. And so, the Cherokee today are not vanquished. We discovered some things about ourselves in these journeys that we have gone through. We have learned a lot. We have become great administrators. Almost every American Indian tribe in this country has a Cherokee employed somewhere on its business staff. And so we have survived, and we have endured, and we have become proud once again of who we are.